Senator Mackenzie.
Thank you, Mr President. My question is to the Minister for Indigenous Affairs, Senator Scullion. Will the Minister advise the Chamber on the progress of the remote school attendance strategy to increase school attendance rates for Indigenous children?
It doesn't help when senators interject, and I haven't called the minister. Order. The Minister for Indigenous Affairs, Senator Scullion.
Thank you, Mr President. Well, thank you, Senator Mackenzie. I'm pleased to report that the government's new approach is taking effect. Getting Aboriginal and Islander children to school, of course, is one of the government's top priorities in this area. Now, we've committed significant funds to lift school attendance rates in remote Australia. Through the remote school attendance strategy, we've rolled that out in 73 schools from West Australia, Queensland, South Australia and the Northern Territory. But of course, it's not how much we've invested, it's the results. And I'm happy to report to the Senate that the results in terms of the attendance data is showing an overall upward trend, and that trend is sustainable. The average daily attendance rate is up by 5.1% compared with Term 1 in 40 communities participating in the Stage 1. We're already getting unprecedented levels of data and cooperation from all the jurisdictions, and for that I thank them. And this even comes down to receiving daily data. Education departments are telling us that in many cases this is the first time that they've been able to peruse the data on a daily basis. And of course, we know that we can't manage what you can't measure. I congratulate everyone who's taken up this challenge in this very important area, and particularly the communities. As I travel around the communities, Mr President, I notice that they're talking about what they're going to do in their own context without assistance to ensure that their children are engaged with school. But the ante has been upped, and I think that the communities have decided that they're going to take control and to ensure that this negative narrative is in fact turned around. Again, very importantly, COAG has now agreed to the new target to close the gap on school attendance within 5 years. So all those jurisdictions have made that commitment. My department is working closely with providers, most importantly families and communities, to ensure that this fantastic trend continues.
Senator Mackenzie.
Thank you, Mr President. Can the Minister highlight any particular instances of success in increasing student attendance under the remote school attendance strategy?
The Minister.
Thanks again for the supplementary, Senator Mackenzie. There have been some dramatic improvements specifically. Queensland and the Northern Territory governments have actually granted permission to release publicly the Term 1 attendance data, and that demonstrates very much the strategy is working. Attendance rates rose in almost all the Queensland and Northern Territory schools. Doomadgee, for example, rose from 49%, tragic, in Term 1 to 67.8%, an absolute victory, an increase of 18 percentage points. Woogala, the Northern Territory, attendance rates is 15% up than it was in 2013. Borroloola, a very difficult case, by again another 15%. Fantastic outcomes from those communities and those parents. So in 14 of the 21 RAS schools, attendance is up more than 5 percentage points across those compared with last year. This stands in stark contrast from the outcomes of the previous 5 years.
Senator Mackenzie.
Thank you, Mr President. Can the Minister highlight how many jobs for Indigenous Australians have been created in remote communities under the remote school attendance strategy?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr President. And of course, when we've got a challenge like this, you've got to be able to chew gum and walk at the same time. There are a number of challenges that in communities that are not about school attendance. One of the principal ones is employment. That's why I'm delighted to advise that now more than 500 local Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people have been engaged as school attendance officers and supervisors. From the beginning, I insisted that this program employ 100% Aboriginal and Islander people, and that has been done. Few of the people who are now employed have been employed before. Most of them were unemployed, but that's not because they didn't have a particular set of skills. The skills they have is like a bit of if you've got a degree in Walloona or a degree in Yuendamu, they're not available anywhere else. These individuals have those special talents that knows exactly where a family's up to, where the mobility is, and exactly what the barriers actually facing those families are. And it's by capturing those skills and that skill set. So congratulations very much to the communities and those members for their efforts.
Time's expired.